Contrary to popular belief, there was music besides the fall off that got released these past couple weeks.
You can't ever take. It's such an unnatural thing to me. Yeah. Don't stop making your bread just because you know I got you.
First time in sex, I was scamming. My second time back, I was cramming the bins in my pants. First time we linked, she was sparing. The second time we made a snare, was prepared for the trans.
My name is Timmy Too Dope, and these are my smokers of the week. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been spinning a lot of the fall off and a lot of Bad Bunny recently. Shout out to J. Cole and Benito for their recent accomplishments. I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite tracks from the fall off at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that, but that's not who we're here to talk about right now. We're here for everything else, at least the good stuff. Starting with Jordan Ward. The tracks I'm gonna highlight today are Themselves and Juicy. Jordan just dropped off a project called Backward. My first time diving into any of his music, and these two, in my opinion, are the standout tracks, the best tracks from that project, but the whole thing is just a great project front to back. But the first track we're gonna talk about today is Themselves, and it's such a unique and refreshing concept. I don't think I've ever heard anything like this, subject-wise. It's basically Jordan speaking on a relationship and independence. Like, yeah, of course, you wanna be together and you wanna share certain things together. All that is beautiful. Building a life together, it's beautiful. That's the goal. But at the end of the day, you still need your own motion. You still need your own drive. You still need your own money, because when you don't, that's how people play themselves. And this instrumental is just impossible not to move to. He even dropped a fully choreographed music video when he initially released this track. Jordan Ward is a talented dude. As far as Juicy goes, I promise you, if Justin Bieber were to make this same song, it would be the #1 song in the US right now, maybe even in the world. That's how good this track is. And that's no shade to either JB or JW, Jordan Ward. It's no shade to either one of those people, those artists. It's just a thought that I had. As far as the actual track goes, I'm gonna try to do my best to kind of describe it, but this is one of those tracks that you just have to hear for yourself of how beautiful it is. But beautiful, smooth, heartfelt, got that timeless feel to it, that almost inspirational, like weightlessness to it. It really reminds you of like an updated kind of version of Fast Cars by Tracy Chapman. Next couple tracks I want to talk about are strictly for the bar lovers. The first of which is called Traffic by Jordan Lucas and Dave East. If you know how these two get down, if you know what these two MCs do to tracks by themselves, you can only imagine what they put together when they're on a track at the same time. Braggadocious, high energy, everything you come to know and love from both of these MCs on a great beat. I don't know who produced this track, but they laid the perfect foundation for these two to put on an absolute masterpiece of lyrical sparring. Next up, we got Mr. Jayceon Taylor, Mr. Red Rolls, White Sealing himself, linking up with 2/3 of Griselda in the form of Conway the Machine and Benny the Butcher. Again, one of those tracks that if you know what these MCs do separately, you can only imagine the type of track that they're gonna put together when they're on the same track. You know what I mean? Gritty, street energy, that plug talk, that drug talk. Like I said, exactly what you're imagining in your head when you see these three names is exactly what you get on this track. From the raw grittiness of the street records by The Game and Dave East and Jordan Lucas, to the smoothness of Foggy Raw. The track is called Boyfriend in Your Brain, and this is what I'm calling a time machine record. This one, you cut this on, you feel like you are transported from 2026 to the late 90s or to the early 2000s, and that's exactly the type of vibe that Foggy Raw brings to the game. Every time I hear him on a track or even on a feature, or I see one of his shorts, it's always transporting me back to that like early 2000s. And this song right here, Boyfriend in Your Brain, might be the best example of that. It really feels like one of those classic pursuing the girl type records. Like I think the Billie Jean music video is kind of that. Yo by Chris Brown was on that same stuff where he kind of chasing the girl and singing to her. Excuse Me Miss by Bobby Valentino, kind of the same vibe. Some people will call that harassment, but if you got a good voice, we'll overlook all that. Theme-wise, it sounds like Foggy is caught up between being a hopeful and a hopeless romantic, talking about love, feeling very unnatural to him, like it's something he's only done one time before. This joint is short, catchy, memorable, very easy to run back multiple times. Next, we got Kenny Mason. The track is called Levitate, and I've really been noticing, I don't want to call it a trend, maybe it is a trend. I've just been noticing more and more hip-hop artists leaning more into like the rock lane, like adding more rock textures into their more traditional hip-hop music. And I think Kenny Mason is one of the most elite in that subgenre, if you will. This track right here, Levitate, might be one of the strongest examples of him blending in those rock elements with traditional hip hop and him kind of fully stepping into that sound. He's been dabbling here and there on different projects, but like I said, he's perfected it, and if he hasn't perfected it, he's well on his way to perfecting this sound. And beyond the production, Kenny is just always fun to listen to. His flow, his cadence, his melodies, your ear just never gets bored listening to Kenny Mason. And speaking of Kenny Mason, this next track I'm gonna talk about features Kenny Mason. It's by an artist by the name of Mavi, and Mavi is on the large list of artists that I told myself I would dive into in 2026, and this kind of just naturally, organically popped up on my timeline, so I figured what better time than now to take that dive. And this one caught me off guard in a real good way, and I'll explain. When I see Kenny Mason on a track for a feature, I assume he's gonna wash whatever artist he's featured on with. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of raved about Kenny Mason in the last Smoker video. My light just went out. I just raved about how much I love Kenny Mason in the last video. So y'all know how big of a fan I am. So when I see him on a feature, I'm thinking he's gonna clean this Mavi dude up. That did not happen at all. Mavi more than held his own. Super impressive. His flow was very similar to what Kenny Mason does. Very smooth, almost jazzy flow, kind of floating over this beat. Great beat as well. Kenny Mason came on with the featured verse. Kenny does what Kenny always does. If this track is anything to go off of, if this is always how Mavi gets down, I'm gonna definitely cut on whatever the last project that he just released with him like looking like a flying squirrel on the cover. I'm gonna go check that project out and I'll report back. Let me know some of your favorite Mavi tracks down in the comments. And the last track that I want to talk about today is one of my favorite tracks from The Fall Off. The Fall Off full review is coming. I do also plan on doing like a lyric breakdown, some of my favorite lyrics from The Fall Off as well. But I want to get some Fall Off content out there, so I want to talk about my favorite joint from The Fall Off today, and that is of course called Quick Stop. This is a lot of people's one of a lot of people's favorite songs. I'm seeing I Still Love Her as a lot of people's favorite. I'm seeing Poor Thing as a lot of people's favorites, but man, this Quick Stop joint is soul food, bro. This honestly feels less like a song and more like a journal entry. It hits like a real motivational speech and not some generic cookie cutter surface level Facebook post type of motivation, but something that actually connects. Like, you feel every word that Cole is talking about. The picture that he paints of almost running out of gas, feeling he needs to go to the gas pump to fill up the tank, filling up his tank, somebody is smelling like weed, say, hey bro, you smoke, blah blah blah. He's got the hoodie up, he's pumping gas, hit the 93 button, the guy talking his ear off, he thinks the gas pump is broke because of how long it's taken. And meanwhile, the dude realizes, oh, you're J. Cole, and then he proceeds to spill his soul about everything that Cole means to him, about how, you know, at this certain time of his life, I listened to Cole and it got me through this. And it got Cole to thinking like, damn, I'm helping this person in his everyday life through all these situations. But right now, I didn't even realize that I need this type of talk that dude is giving me. I didn't even realize I was having this big of an impact. And now dude's sitting here spilling his soul to me about how much I mean to him, made me realize that I needed this type of talk too, that I needed this type of motivation, bro. And again, this is one of those songs that I'm not gonna do enough justice just sitting here and try to describe it. Go seek this track out. It's very rare. You can hear hunger in Cole's voice a lot, but he would sound like he was damn near on the brink of tears recording this song, man. Like, this is a special J. Cole song. This is one of them ones. Like, he makes a lot of good music on the Fall Off, but this was definitely a top 3 track for me on the Fall Off, no doubt. As far as next week goes, it looks like we got a stacked old week. Obviously, I'm still listening to the Fall Off, so that's going to be in my rotation, but also Brent Faiyaz is dropping a project out of seemingly nowhere called Icon. I'm ready for that. It's been years since we got a new Brent Faiyaz track. Jill Scott, To Whom It May Concern. It's got features from Absol, I think Common's on there, JID's on there, Tierra Wax on there. It's been years since we got a Jill Scott project as well, so I can't wait for that one. Looks like Ransom, Boldy James, Nick Craven already dropped a project. I think I saw that. Definitely got to go check that out. A Boogie with the Hoodie dropped a project. Definitely interested to see what A Boogie with the Hoodie sounds like in 2026. Bossman D-Lo dropping a track. Jamie Foxx. Mike Will Made It, Chief Keef, NBA Youngboy, Central C. We got a stacked week to look forward to next week. And that's this week's rotation. If I put you onto something new, then my job here is done. Do not worry. The Fall Off content is coming. I didn't want to jump out the window and just put out content for the sake of putting out content. I really wanted to sit with this album and give it its due and give thoughtful content, put out thoughtful content when I do put out content. Give me another week or so to sit with this album, fully flesh out my thoughts and opinions, and I'm gonna come right back with a review video and my favorite bars from the Fall Off as well. All right, I appreciate you guys clicking on this video and kicking it with me today. And as always, if it's not too dope, then it's probably mids.